Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're digging into a story of absolute genius and devastating prejudice. It's a story that truly shaped the world we live in, and we're going to break it down one slide at a time.
So let's talk about Alan Turing. His is a story of these incredible, world-changing achievements that were just overshadowed by a really profound injustice. I mean, think about it. This is the mind that imagined our digital age, but he was completely broken by the time he actually lived in.
To really get Turing, you have to understand that he was living in two totally different worlds at the same time. One was a world of pure, mind-bending intellectual brilliance, and the other, a world full of harsh, unforgiving social rules.
And that's the core conflict of his entire life, right there. This is the paradox. On one hand, you have this thinker who literally reshaped the future with his ideas about computing. And on the other, you have a man who was prosecuted, condemned, really, by his own society just for who he was. This tension is the key to his whole story.
Okay, so first things first, let's just dive into the sheer genius of his work, because honestly, it's the foundation for pretty much everything we consider modern technology.
Now get this. Way back in 1936, long before anyone had a laptop or a smartphone, Turing came up with this idea of a universal machine. And this wasn't a physical thing with circuits and plugs. Nope. It was a powerful, abstract concept, a blueprint, really, for every single computer that would ever be built.
And the real beauty of the Turing machine was just how simple it was. By repeating just these three basic steps, read, write, move, Turing showed that this theoretical machine could handle any algorithm you could throw at it. It's kind of like Legos, right? With just a few basic brick types, you can build almost anything. Well, this was the universal language for computing.
And this simple idea led to a massive leap in what we understood about logic. He used it to prove that there are actually fundamental, unbreakable limits to what we can compute. He showed that some questions just don't have an answer that an algorithm can find, ever.
Now, you might think this is all just abstract theoretical stuff, right? Well, wrong. This work had immediate, world-altering consequences. During World War II, at the top-secret facility Bletchley Park, Turing's brain was the key to cracking the logic of the German Enigma machine. His work was absolutely vital in breaking enemy codes and literally turning the tide of the war.
And let's just let that sink in for a second. His mind didn't just invent a whole new field of science, it directly changed the course of history. We're talking about saving an estimated 14 million lives. The intelligence that came from his code breaking, which was codenamed Ultra, was a huge reason the Allies won the war.
But here's the tragic, almost unbelievable twist. The very society he helped save, the country that depended on his intellect to survive, well, it turned on him in the most brutal way.
So picture this. It's 1952. Turing reports a simple burglary at his house. During the investigation, he acknowledges that he's in a relationship with another man. Instead of getting help, the police arrested him and charged him with gross indecency. And then, they gave him an unthinkable choice.
He chose the hormone treatment. Let's be blunt, this was chemical castration, a physically and emotionally destructive process that was presented to him as a cure for being gay. Just look at this timeline. It shows you just how fast and how tragically his entire life was dismantled. In just 2 years, he went from being a national hero at the cutting edge of science to a convicted criminal, forced to undergo these horrific medical procedures. And then he was gone, dead at only 41.
But despite that awful personal tragedy, his legacy is absolutely immense. In fact, it's only gotten bigger over time. So, how do we remember Alan Turing today? What did he leave behind?
Well, you really have to think about his legacy in two parts, running side by side. On the one hand, he's the scientific pioneer, the father of computer science and AI, the visionary. But he's also this powerful social symbol, a tragic victim of prejudice, an icon for LGBTQ+ rights, and just a stark reminder of what intolerance costs us.
It wasn't until 2013, think about that, nearly 60 years after he died, that Alan Turing was finally given a posthumous royal pardon from the British government. It was a long, long overdue admission of the terrible injustice that was done to him.
And that really gets to the heart of why his story is still so important. It isn't just a sad piece of history. It's a powerful lesson, a case study in what we all lose, what incredible potential we throw away when we let prejudice win.
So his life leaves us with this huge, challenging question. It forces us to look around and ask ourselves, whose potential are we squandering right now? Whose genius are we at risk of losing just because we're judging them for who they are, instead of seeing what they could give to the world?